Well, the show that took you around the speedrun landscape has reached its final destination. Going Places has finished. I thought I'd just take a step out and go somewhere a little bit different to talk about the show, what it's meant to me, and what it has been for the past couple of years. I often struggle with explaining this job to people. They ask, what do you do? And I'm like, well, it's a bit of a fairy tale scenario, really. And as sad it will be to say goodbye to regularly running this show, it has passed any expectations that I had as that young 20-something who thought, yeah, let's just apply and see if my ideas are any good. But that does beg the question, what were my expectations? What were even my dreams with this show? Well, to answer that, we have to go back to where the idea came from and the familiar room of the first 20 or so episodes of Going Places. Having made my debut on the inaugural Sonic Hotfix under Amber Cyprin's organisational prowess, I thought, why not throw in my ideas towards the next round of Hotfix shows coming on? Totally disregarding the fact that I hadn't really had much hosting experience before that, and the fact that Games Done Quick works on a completely different time zone to where I am. 3 ideas of mine were sent through, and at that point all I could do was just cross my fingers. But apparently the ideas were pretty neat, but why don't we combine 2 of them? And thus, after a couple of name changes, we finally landed on Going Places. I confess that the ideas were very self-indulgent, as at the time I was just kind of getting interested in Japanese PlayStation 1 exclusive games. So these first episodes kind of taught me a lot about a whole load of communities that I probably would never have actually reached out to and learned about had I not, had the show to do so. And it really pushed into one aspect that has been pretty important for this show, but also one that I've really enjoyed with this show and other shows, is outreach, because it can be quite hard to find runners for games that are a little more obscure. Thank goodness speedrun.com makes that a little bit easier, but you have to reach out, you have to go out of your way to find the runners for these games, because they don't always know that there will be a show that they can submit to. And as a result, the friendships that have come from having to reach out and get to know people a little bit more to bring them onto the show have been really, really precious and really valuable. I've really enjoyed that. Then we took a pause, my life was changing, and lo and behold, I was going places as well. So the show had to as well. And this is where it will conclude. The latter part of Going Places has really built up my confidence in hosting, as well as further pushed into the outreach that I've enjoyed. I think in recent years, what I've really, really taken joy in seeing is some runners from Going Places putting forward their runs into the mainline events and then seeing them just absolutely smash it on stage. I'm very much a believer that pretty much every speedrun has some good entertainment value and can be shown off to that kind of capacity. So to see folks take it just from a quiet evening to the masses on the main stage makes me so happy. Even with the show having to take a diversion to different places, it has always been the same ragtag bunch of games and gamers that make the hidden gems of Going Places. It's certainly going to live on with any games that I end up running that still fit under the Going Places umbrella, and I've been super, super flattered by folks who've just shown their appreciation for the show, whether they have been on it in the past or whether it's just been something that they tune in especially for. It's truly, truly been an honour, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what shows will take my place. But before we close, I'd just like to do a couple of shout outs to the folks that have kind of helped make this happen. Number one is to Amber Cyprin, who kind of sparked that little interest in me despite what was actually a really shambolic first marathon run for me. I'd thank my first manager, who's Muffins, who knowingly or unknowingly kind of threw me into something that I wasn't particularly familiar with, but I've really, really grown to love. Ray, and a little more frequently recently Richard, my producers and their professional string pulling and technical assistance, and it's just been lovely to share my evenings with you two. Whilst we're on the topic of managers, Mike Uyama, he had to stand in whilst we didn't really quite know what was next, and when I didn't really know what was quite next, I was moving countries at the time, and he was incredibly patient with all of the stuff that I was having to sort out in that time. All of the other amazing Games Done Quick staff through Hotfix, through socials, video, who we'd usually work a little closer with, but everybody else who just makes this branch of the organisation so cool. And last but not least, current hotfix manager Ashley, who has already in a short period of time weathered many a storm with hotfix, and is usually a name that falls under the radar from the front-facing staff. But not only is she an amazing friend to everyone that she works with, but an amazingly compassionate individual as well, who only deserves the very best. So Ashley, thank you so much. You'll still be able to find me tech checking on occasion and maybe subbing in for a host who needs a hand, but you can either find me streaming here or taking photos here. But for now, this has been Hib, and this has been Going Places. See you around.
When Hip first mentioned the idea of the show to me, I knew that Mega Man would fit in perfectly with his concept. Running Extreme 2 was really fun, and I'm glad I could get other people on for the first episode in this incredible series.
Eat your bananas, kids.
Showcasing the weird and wonderful games of the world, like Flying Shoe, means Going Places will stay in my heart as a really fond memory and a fun experience.
You know, I remember getting asked to do Surf's Up PSP for Going Places, and I was writing the script for that for like 2 days straight when I realized, damn, this hip guy's got a sick sense of humor.
Oh my goodness.
Let's go! Hi there. Going Places is my first participating in DDQ event. Customer Lobby 2 is only released in Japan, so I'm happy to show it.
It was really fun getting to be on the show, and I had a lot of fun getting my game in the spotlight and being included in something.
皆さんこんにちは、キノです。ゴーイングプレイスでは鈴木爆発するゲームでスピードランやりました。日本にはこんなおバカなゲームがあるというのをみんなに見てもらえてとても嬉しかったです。助けてくれたヘンティクさんありがとう。
If it wasn't for you and Going Places, Pokemon TCG and its wonderful RNG-filled mess might not have been showcased as much as it has lately. You kind of had me on last year, so thank you.
I appreciate Going Places for allowing me and my game to be featured for the first time on a GDQ stream.
Shout out to Hypnotics and Going Places. I got to show so much crazy stuff on there, and I don't know anybody else that would have catered this much to the Nintendo 3DS.
Showing off my Japanese-only PSP game on Going Places has been a wonderful experience, and big shout out to Hypnotics for just being an amazing showrunner, and I'm sad to see the show go.
Passion Project is next, don't leave.